Hi, this is Linda. Today we're going to look at some Excel tips that I use quite frequently, and I'm also going to be showing you these tips using this spreadsheet that you can download from Microsoft, and I'll have the link in my show notes. But let's get started. First of all, let's look at decreasing the column or row width, and to do that I'm thinking this is a little too wide, so I'm going to come down to the bottom here, and when your cursor changes to this crosshair, then you can drag it up, and that comes in handy quite a bit. And sometimes we want to insert rows or columns. So I want to insert 3 rows right there. You come up here to home, go over here to insert. This is how you insert the column or the rows, and the command was there also for inserting columns. Next, let's look at formulas. Probably you already know this. This is one of the first things that people probably use Excel for, and that's adding things up. And here they've got this spreadsheet ready. The simplest way I find to do it is just come up here to this auto sum, hit your enter key, and it will sum it up for you. They have a couple other ways here that you can do it, but I find that's the best. When you work with large spreadsheets, sometimes you've got a row of columns up at the top and they're named, but you have to be going way down below, line 23. So then you want to freeze your rows and columns. So let's take a look at how to do that. You have to go to the View ribbon up at the top, and there are a couple things you can do. You can freeze your panes. You can do the rows and the columns, just the top row or the first column. So if I freeze the top row, of course it's not really going to help us here, but you can see the line that it put there. Then you do have to come up here and unfreeze them. If you rather, you can do a split and come up here, and I'm putting my cursor there. I'm going to hit split, and this gives you more of a visual reference of where you are. I believe that will just do your top and freeze after that first column. A housekeeping thing you may want to do, and that is adding more tabs down here at your spreadsheet. That you can have a lot, I'm not sure how many, and you can also color them. So I've colored some of these. These are the ones I'm going to be talking about. And to do that, you just right click on your tab, and here's where you can select a tab. You can also do a move or copy. This comes in handy if you want to take one sheet and then you want the exact same thing, except maybe you're going to have a different month. You can create a copy, because if you say move it, then it'll just move it, and you only still have one copy. But if you want to keep the existing one, then you want to say create a copy, and this is where you can insert where you want it to appear. And if you have more than one Excel book open, you can click that and even put a sheet on a whole different notebook. A couple other things with formulas. Here's an easy way to add everything up and total it to the column to the right, and add everything up on the bottom. You highlight everything, of course leaving space for the extra column and the extra row, and just come over here to your auto sum, and it just fills it all up. And by the way, if you have these hash marks in here, that just means your column isn't wide enough. This is how you fix that. Let's look at the difference between absolute and relative cell references in Excel. I've got a formula over here where I'm going to multiply E6 times G6. I can grab that, pull it down, it'll fill it all the way down, but perhaps I just want to only multiply E6 for the rest of my columns. To make it an absolute cell reference, you put a $sign between or before your E and your 6, and click the check to have it there. And then when you want to copy that down, there you go, and you can come down here and look, and it's the reference is E6 times G8. So that's a handy thing to know. Another great tip is learning how to sort and filter data. That comes in handy. So here's a small table. The way you start is to highlight your table, come up here to the sort and filter, and I've already applied a filter on there, and if I want to unapply it, then you see that goes away. But if I want to filter this, and I can come over here and I can sort it by largest to smallest, and it will do that. I can also come over here and sort and filter. I can sort A to Z. It's just handy to know. And you have a custom sort where you can come over here and say, well, first I want to sort by department and then by values. Or you can do it by whatever things you may have in there. And so you have this table. I've already kind of dressed it up. And the way I did that is I highlighted it all. Then I came over here to format. Sorry, I came over here to format as a table. And that's the way it's formatted right now. But if I want to just change it to this black one, that's just a really quick way to get your formatting done, and it'll look nice. The last thing I have for you is just how to insert today's date in a cell. And to do that, you hold down your control and then push your semicolon. That's just a nice quick tip if you don't even know what the day is, but of course the date's right down here because if you're on your computer, your date is probably showing. I hope you enjoyed these tips, and if you do, please leave a comment. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot.